What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, is Craig Mish. It's time to get down and dirty with our Westgate Super Contest picks. If you caught us on Wednesday night's live stream, you know where the leans were. If you caught us on Sports Grid on Friday, you knew where we were leaning even further. And Craig, here it is. Time to tip ourselves over and see if we can go 4-1 or 5-0 this time around. It's been a good week for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to find out if it's a good week starting tomorrow. Actually, pretty good day for me today in college football. I do have to say, pretty solid day for me
Mazel tov.
overall. Gators win real big, and I usually don't, as you know, go with the Gators because I don't like to. I don't like to break my heart. It's like a double loss, But I did feel real good about them today against Georgia. They smashed them, so that was a good win. All is well. The picks came in today in college, and it wasn't really that good last week. But Friday night with BYU, Saturday with the Gators. Good weekend to start. Now we will see about tomorrow. But I got to tell you, I'm also feeling really good about our picks as well. So I guess we can start by just looking at simply put the line movers before we get into this here a little bit. And I guess there were two pieces of news. The things that don't move, Howard, are running backs, receivers. People always say, oh, because this guy's out, it's a receiver. It's the quarterback, right? Like the quarterback makes the line move. So the two lines that we found, I guess, interesting were the Lions because of Matthew Stafford playing or not playing. But ironically, them announcing him playing today didn't move the line at all. In fact, it went the other way. So maybe there's still a chance he's not going to play. I don't get it. But the Vikings actually -3.5. So pretty solid right there. I believe what was the Super Contest line? 5.5?
Well, it's plus 5.5. Yeah.
So it did move a little bit. But since earlier today, really not that much. So if we did choose to take Detroit, we'd be getting 2 points of value there. And then the one that we'll talk about a little bit later, but we are, I believe, going to get involved in this one, and it's going to be the most picked game in the contest is going to be the Patriots against the Jets. That one with with Sam Darnold being out, they have not shown any ability whatsoever to come close with Flacco. And I don't even remember. Do you remember who their quarterback was last year without Darnold? Was it Luke Falk? I don't even remember. Who was it?
Yeah, there was. It doesn't matter. Nobody that matters.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the updated line for us here. I'm scrambling here for the
on
month.
what on the
I got 9.5 here.
9.5 is what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So look, I mean, we're gonna get 2.5 points of value. We're gonna take that. Pretty much gonna take that. But anyway, where do you want to start here?
Let's start at the top of the ticket here. The first game of the on the slate that we're going to be taking at the 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. The Buffalo Bills. This goes against usually what we like to do. We like to just kind of go with Russell Wilson. I've got a feeling about this game, actually. I'm not going to lie. I've got a feeling about it. Buffalo can play well at home. I know it was kind of a down effort from Josh Allen, but listen, this Seattle secondary is not good. And I think that what we're going to end up seeing here, there's a little bit more stability in the ground game with the return of Zach Moss for Buffalo. I think they're going to want to try and grind the clock out a little bit more. All right. And at least try and keep Russ off the field as much as possible. But if this does turn into a shootout, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, I think with that talent, I think they can actually keep pace. I don't care if Buffalo wins this one or not. I think this one's a super close game. I think it's a point differential.
Yeah, so to take you behind the curtain, we've talked about this before with our Super Contest picks. Howard and I put up the money at the beginning of the season. We split it 50-50. So essentially, neither of us are making unilateral picks with these. We start talking about them earlier in the week, and then usually by the time we get to Saturday afternoon, we make our final decisions. We exchange emails back and forth, exchange ideas back and forth. Some Howard likes more than others. Some I like more than others. In general, I don't think that what we've done, and the reason why I think we've been real successful, is we don't go against one another. We basically are just like, look, if you like that pick and you like it so much, we're going to go with it. And usually when those things happen, it's more or less a hunch, and they usually come in. And so of the 5 picks this week, it's not that I dislike Buffalo, because if I disliked Buffalo, I would say, Howard, we cannot take the Bills. We got to get out. And I've done that before. Howard's done that to me. We are not doing that this week. Okay, fine. I agree. Usually those times are right. So I don't dislike the Bills here, But I will say that Howard has made it clear he likes Buffalo more than I do this week. But nonetheless, if I'm picking 6 or 7 games on the board, Buffalo would be in there. It's just not probably in my top 5. Regardless of that, it's a home underdog. Seattle is not going to cover every line this season, right? They're going to play 16 games this year. They may go 13-3, but they're only going to go 12-4, 11-5 against the spread. At some point, they're not going to cover. To my knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, they've only not covered once. I think that they're 6-1, but they're twice. So they're 5-2 against the spread. So again, this is going to set up at the end of the year for them to be 10-6, 11-5 against the spread. Maybe they were a 12-4, 13-3 team. This is the last time they traveled coast to coast, they did not fare well. So perhaps this is the next time that they don't.
Well, that's also another factor in there as well, is that, I mean, for them to be playing on the early slate coming all the way across country, it's 10 a.m. for them. They're not
right.
They're not used
if
to
anybody was to look at the last time that Seattle traveled coast to coast, they traveled to Miami. And Seattle did cover. We took Miami. We lost. But the truth is that Miami kicked a bunch of field goals. They should have went for touchdowns. Miami could have easily covered that game. So I can feel really good in a loss, and that's how I felt about that Miami one. In the end, in the Super Contest, it does count as the big fat L. I get that, but I could see the Bills pulling the upset for sure. Again, the reason why this is not one of my favorites, and I'll be very specific, it has nothing to do with the teams. It's all about to do with the line. Seattle is -3. The total is 55. In all likelihood, the spread is not going to be a factor in this game. It's kind of the way it appears. So it's almost as if you have to believe Buffalo could win the game outright, and I do. So they'll be one of our 5 picks this week. Again, if the line is 3, Howard, Seattle -3, the total is 42, 43. It's 23, 21 at the end of the game. I mean, there's 55 points here. I mean, they're expecting 8 touchdowns. So in all likelihood, spread probably not a factor in this one, but let's hope for Buffalo winning outright.
Get those fantasy shares of Tyler Bass, the kicker. He's all in.
Don't even know who that is.
Next game, let's talk about it. We're taking the Bears +5.5 over the Titans. We went to the Bengals last week. They were a 5.5 point underdog to the Titans. We missed out on that one here. Bears a little bit different of a story. There's definitely a nicer defense that we're looking at. Now, we are losing a point in value because I'm seeing the line at +6.5 right now. Mm-hmm. So we are losing that point of value. Still, Titans, they've been playing a lot of close games, and this defense is not holding together for them.
Yeah, and it's very bizarre that the Titans just continually are big favorites in every game that they play, almost undeserved. So look, the Bears played very close last week. They did not 2 weeks ago against the Rams. To be candid with you, I didn't watch that Bears-Rams game that closely. I don't really know what happened in that one. I think I just punted that. I think it was a Monday night game. I punted that one. But
pretty much everybody was in a coma.
Yeah, I just read lines more than I do games sometimes. And this one in particular, until the Titans show, as you mentioned, that they could stop somebody on defense and cover a big line, you got to keep going against them. And if they're not going to cover at Cincinnati, playing one of the worst defenses in the NFL, why not the Bears? I don't think the Bears will win this game outright. That I don't think. I think they continue to struggle. They started off, if I'm not mistaken, 5-1. They're 5-3. They'll probably be 5-4 after this game. But the kicker is not particularly good for the Titans either. Their punter is out, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Yep. So there's some key injuries to special teams on this one. Maybe the Bears pull off the upset, but we'll take the 5.5 points here. I see Tennessee winning by 1.
Beautiful. All right. Game number 3, you got to shoot all the way down to the afternoon games. That's right. Look at that. Moving all the way down, taking the Cardinals at home, laying 5 to Miami. So my feeling about it here is, Miami's backfield is a complete hot mess right now with no Myles Gaskin. I mean, sure, you want to invest in a guy like Jordan Howard, who's got, end up with like 10 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown, something like that. Patrick Laird doesn't do it. Salvon Ahmed is an intriguing guy. I don't know if they're going to give him the ball enough here, but I mean, listen, for those of you who play fantasy, if you're desperate and you're looking for a dart throw, the former University of Washington back looks like he's got some potential there. But nevertheless, Miami dealt with a COVID situation at home. They had to shut things down on Friday. So there was no practice Friday. Saturday, they had to go through all their testing and whatnot. And then it's travel all the way across country to go and play Arizona, who, listen, coming off of a bye week, we've talked about how teams are coming off of a bye. I just think that everybody's so all in on Miami because their defense showed up so beautifully against the Rams this past week. I think a lot of people are overstating what this Miami team is. We don't even know what this offense is still yet. They look terrible in the last game. Tagovailoa, listen, I hope all the best for him, but he did not look that great this past week.
Yeah, most rookie quarterbacks don't, so I'm not particularly worried about him long term. But look, we're going to take the Cardinals. But the concern would be, if you're playing the other side, that Miami's defense is that good. If you believe that they are that good, then this is going to be a very close game. For me, this is just a matter of right place, right time, right situation. Great spot for the Cardinals. Miami kind of got their win, so to speak, last week against the Rams, a game that they weren't supposed to win. And the odds makers really, didn't react too much, I don't think, one way or the other to this. And the Cardinals pretty much deserve to be what they are, a 3-point favorite, 4-point favorite. I know 5 is the number that we're going to lay here. But you're right, Tua did not look great. They don't have a running game whatsoever to speak of. So the only way they could stay in this game is playing great defense. And so I think that there'll be a slip up here. Remember, 2 of their touchdowns last week. 1 on the defensive side, 1 on the special teams side. That's more luck than good. Playing defense is not lucky. Scoring on defense is lucky. Scoring on special teams is a little bit lucky also. They got 14 points last week. They still would have beaten the Rams, but it would have been a lot closer. So don't be mistaken about that line last week. We'll take the Cardinals minus the 5 here. And I think Miami still has a really great shot to make the playoffs, and Tua will get better as he goes, but he showed nothing last week. So
no. And let's also remember that a third touchdown could have been by defense, but the guy ended up getting taken down at the 1 yard line.
That's true too. And they scored right after that too. So yeah, that's when you see that happen in the NFL, and that's lucky. That's not something that it's a ball bouncing one way or the other. Or those aren't things you really quantify. Now, them keeping a team from scoring a lot, that's absolutely a different story.
Next game we're looking at is Sunday night action. Bucks hosting the Saints. Bucks get Antonio Brown. Chris Godwin's going to be playing. It's Tom Brady's team, and he's got all his guys there now. He's got Brown. He's got Gronk.
Right.
He wanted Fournette, so there it is. And yet, guess what? I'm going the other side here. We're taking the Saints. We're taking the 4.5 points. It's the return of Michael Thomas. Drew Brees is playing. They are both good to go. This whole offense, the Saints' entire offense, is a million times different when it's got Michael Thomas in there. When you've got that kind of a receiving threat. And let's not forget also Emmanuel Sanders activated from the reserve COVID list as well. So now you've got Thomas, you've got Jared Cook, you've got Emmanuel Sanders, you've got Alvin Kamara, and you've got Latavius Murray. So you've got the firepower to keep this game close. This is a statement game. I think this is a statement game for the Saints. They, everybody's talking Bucks. Saints want this one. Saints need this one. I think they can take control of the South with a win here. And that's where I'm leaning. I think they can win this one outright. I think a lot of people are just all, you have to pay a tax on Dallas. I think we're starting to having to pay a tax on Tampa Bay this year as well.
No doubt about that. And look, the Saints have been horrible against the spread, but that's because they've been favorites in almost every game they've played in this year. And remember, they played Tampa Bay back in week 1 at New Orleans, and New Orleans won 34-23. New Orleans has beaten Tampa 6 out of the last 8 times and covered in those matchups. Again, those weren't with Brady. It was with Winston, so different story there for sure. The interesting one here also is the Saints I believe they're the only team in the NFL they've gone over all 7 times. So they're 7-0 going over against the spread. I always watch that to see how far that's going to go, but who knows? Maybe it continues in this one. I think the spread is super high, right? 50? Yeah, I think it's around 50 in this game.
Total?
So, yeah. So Saints as dogs, good. Saints as favorites, no. Very similar to the Chargers, how we talk about them. The Saints don't deserve to be laying big points, but the Buccaneers didn't look that great at the Giants, and you have to wonder, are they just satisfied enough with a 1-point win or 2-point win or 3-point win? And so we're going to get 4.5 here. Is that correct?
We're getting 4.5 here, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll take the points. And again, out of every 5 picks that we do here on the Super Contest, we're always going to have a minimum of 2 underdogs. I like to have 3 usually, but we have to have a minimum of 2 because 5 favorites will never win.
No, I think we actually tried that the first year just for the heck of it. I think there was one week where we just didn't like the dogs. Nevertheless, didn't work. Final game on the slate. We talked about it earlier. We are taking the Patriots. Right. We're laying 7. The line is 9.5 right now.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, this is a layup. It's got to be a layup.
Yeah. And look, the Jets could play well. They could win. It's the NFL. They could cover. I thought New England played very well last week, and a lot was made of the final play of the game. If Cam Newton doesn't fumble, they have just as good a shot to beat Buffalo last week. Right. And if they beat Buffalo, the line is 14 right now. I guarantee it. The line is 2 touchdowns if they go to Buffalo and beat Buffalo. So you're telling me one play cost that team 4 or 5 points against the spread? Well, look, that's where it is right now. By the time we get to Monday night, there is no doubt this line's going to be 10, 11. I don't think it'll be 12, but I think they're looking at 10, 11 and a half. And again, when the Super Contest line came out, what are we in the business of doing? We're in the business of taking advantage of the lines, and we're trying to win money here. So we're not going to just crap on 3 points here. We're going to take that, and all we got to do is lay 7. And Joe Flacco, who, unfortunately is probably getting a little bit of a bad rap. He didn't have any time to prepare really to be with the Jets. His career is over. He's hanging on to the end. But they have no weapons at all, no weapons on offense, no weapons at running back. Their offensive line is horrible. And this is it for New England, basically, right? Like, this is it. If they have any hopes whatsoever of trying to get in at 8-8, which is not impossible now that they've added an extra team, they got to win. And again, I go back to spreads and not teams. If Cam Newton hangs on to the ball, they don't even have to score a touchdown. Let's say they kick a field goal. They go to overtime. They win. Very possible. What's the line in this? It's New England minus 13 or 14 or something crazy like that. It was 1 fumble. Cam played very well. And Harris played well, too. So I think they just destroy the Jets on Monday night. I don't think the Jets have any thought or care anymore. I think
they shouldn't. They shouldn't have a care in the world. They need to go 0-16 and saddle that with Adam Gase when they send him out the door, and then they usher in a new era with new coaching staff. Trevor Lawrence under center. Listen. You know what? We can share my dreams and hopes and aspirations another time here. Let's wrap things up here on the show. All right. So let me ask you a question here, Craig.
Sure.
Because you concede the Bills pick to me. You said that the Bills would still be your if you did 7 picks. So give me the 2 picks that you would have taken above the Bills.
Yeah. The Lions probably. We discussed that today. I think that them getting points and that to me was a massive overreaction for the Vikings winning 1 game. Like I don't, if the Vikings lose last week, then it's like a pick'em game for me. I think these 2 teams are even, so I think that the line should be 3, and we're getting 5.5 there. So that would be 1. I don't have a strong conviction on any of the other games. That would be it.
Okay.
Yeah, not really. I really wanted to. Pittsburgh, I guess, was one because this season we
talked about it. Yeah.
The line, the big favorites for whatever reason are hitting like 85% this year. I think there's been 10 and 8 have hit above 10 or over. So it's like it's a trend to just go with sometimes, and even though it's not something you want to do. It's a trend that you could follow. So that's a possibility. And I'll tell you what I also wanted to do. I wanted to take the Chargers. I was kind of feeling like, them as a pick'em here. Them as a pick'em.
Yeah.
Was like, I don't want to ever take them as a favorite, but at home, everyone's off them now, and that's another overreaction to last week's game, because I just eliminate what I saw last week, and I don't care. I'll just go right back at it this week and fire. Then I saw with some COVID stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's not. We don't know if it's COVID or not. Keenan Allen, he's now questionable with an illness. Wasn't feeling well today.
Yeah, so something's going on there. And again, if they're pulling the whole contact tracing thing there, and that it has any COVID relation to it, then what are we talking about? All the wide receivers again? I don't want to get involved in that. So, but I do think the Chargers may win this one, and then have us feeling good again. So then next week we can go against them.
Yeah, I love when we get to do that.
All right, well, never.
So here you go then, just to sum it all up here. Bills +3 against the Seahawks. We've got that. We've got the Bears +5.5. We're taking the Cardinals. We're laying 5. We're taking the Saints, adding 4.5. And then we are taking the Patriots, laying 7. They could be laying 70 and still end up winning.
I think that no matter what in the contest, we're going to be okay. I think you're looking at, and we'll find out in the morning. We don't know. Usually we would know by now, but we'll find out in the morning. I think that New England will be the most picked team in the contest this week.
Probably. But so that'll be one time where it works out in our favor.
Yeah, but no, I'm okay. I'm okay with that this week. I'm okay with it.
All right. Well, then there you go, folks. Best of luck to you guys in week 9. Crush it. Make some money. Win some picks. Appreciate Matt Sells for all the production work that he does. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Wager Alarm live stream. We'll catch you next time.